Hello again and welcome to another episode of I Want to Talk About This Album. And today I'm going to get to Megadeth for the first time. If you know anything about this series that I do, when I talk about a band for the first time, I extend it a little bit. I give my history with that band and talk about beyond the album. I give you the inside scoop. And if you notice today, I'm chewing gum. I feel like I've been stagnating in these videos, so I'm trying a new thing. I'm trying gum. I'll see if it catches on. What do you think about the gum? Does it make me look different? Does it add another element, another aspect to the show, me chewing gum? We'll see how it goes. I'm going to talk about Megadeth. Peace sells, ellipsis, but who's buying? And before I get to the record and the track by track, my history with Megadeth, it's pretty long. I remember very well how I got into Megadeth. It was in the summer of 1985. And I was 15 years old, and I used to go camping a lot with my family. And we were camping at a place called, nobody cares about this, nobody knows what I'm talking about, but I'll tell you anyway. We were camping at a place called Point Farms Provincial Park in Ontario. And I was fully into metal at that point. I'd been into metal for years at that point, and I was just discovering this kind of thrash metal thing. And I met some guys on the beach. This sounds like it's going in a kind of a gay direction, but I assure you that it's not. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So I met these guys on the beach. They were a few years older than me, and I think I was wearing a Metallica shirt or something, but we started talking about music, and I think they had a boombox. Remember boomboxes? People used to carry them on their shoulders. You could even carry them like this if you wanted to. Whatever it was, we knew that we were metalheads, and they started telling me, I guess I said I like Metallica and things like that. And they asked me, one of them asked me, do you know about a band called Megadeth? I don't remember the exact conversation, but we did talk about Megadeth. And I said, no, it's Megadeth. And I thought that was a great name. And he said, it's a guy that used to be in Metallica, and now he's got a new band called Megadeth, and they have this album and everything and things like that. And so I somehow, and I don't know how Megadeth had escaped me to that point. I don't know if their first record, Killing Is My Business, ellipses and Business Is Good. I don't know if it was out at that point and there was just talk about them. Maybe these guys were ahead of the curve. But I was into Raven and Exciter and Metallica and Slayer and Anthrax and Virgin Steel, whoever at that point. But I hadn't heard Megadeth. So I finally did hear Megadeth at some point later. And I like them. But they were and always have been and still are, and I can't not talk, it's impossible to not talk about, they call it the big four. You can't talk about, I guess, any of these bands, although I think talk about Slayer and Metallica. I haven't talked about Anthrax yet. I guess I did talk about Slayer and Metallica without mentioning the big four. Megadeth was and still is my least favorite of the big four, and as a matter of fact, I would even say, of all the thrash bands that I was really, I like some, but of the bands that I was really a fan of, I would say Megadeth was and this sounds bad, I guess my least favorite. They were, I did like them, but I was never like a raging Megadeth fan like I was with Metallica and Slayer, and even and still am a much bigger fan of Exodus, Testament, Death Angel, Nuclear Assault, Overkill. I liked all those bands better than Megadeth. And I don't think, for me, Megadeth never had for me anyway, a classic album that I just, rave about, that I can't get enough of, the way I did when I talked the other day about Slayer, Rain and Blood, and the way that I felt about Master of Puppets and Among the Living, and Nuclear Assault, Survive, and Overkill, Under the Influence, and Testament, The New Order, and Practice What You Preach, and Formation of Damnation, Exodus, Fabulous Disaster. All those bands have classic albums. For me, Megadeth does not. This one I'm going to talk about, it's not even my favorite of theirs. I think my favorite, I know my favorite is So Far So Good, Ellipses, So What? But I got Peace Sells, but Who's Buying? Live, I did see Megadeth. I think I've seen them. I saw them for the first time in the So Far So Good, So What tour in, was that 87, I guess? And I saw them opening for Dio in 88. And I saw them on the Clash of the Titans tour in 1990. And then I think I didn't see them again until, I think it was just what was this, about 7 or 8 years ago? They opened for Black Sabbath. I think I saw them open for Iron Maiden at some point too. Definitely saw them open for Black Sabbath at Photosol in Mexico. But I think for me, Megadeth never really were a true thrash metal band in the the way that Metallica and Slayer and Exodus and Testament were. They were thrash metal adjacent. They were maybe more in the vein of I mentioned Raven and Exciter, maybe more like that, maybe more like speed metal. And I'm splitting hairs here. Megadeth was maybe more like speed metal than thrash metal, yet they were involved in the Big Four. And something that I've only realized in more recent years, and I think part of the reason why, in retrospect or in hindsight, if you want to say, now I didn't think of this consciously, and here it is, but Megadeth looked like this. Well, Chris Poland looked like that. And, Slayer looked like Slayer. They had long hair, and they looked kind of evil, and they always had their mouths open, and they were gritting their teeth, and they looked like a thrash metal band. And Megadeth were, Chris Poland here, he looks like he's got a Don Dokken haircut, kind of long hair, but not really, a little bit of a mullet. Lars Samuelson, and I know this doesn't matter, but, I was 16 years old. And Dave Ellefson, a little bit of a kind of a pretty boy look. They didn't look like, they weren't ugly like a lot of thrash bands. So maybe that was, again, subconsciously, although I don't think it. Their music, as I said, I did like it. I do consider myself, or did consider myself, a Megadeth fan. But there's just something about them that always prevented me from being like, me saying, this is my favorite band, or, this album is classic, or something like that. Not exactly sure what it was. Can't put my finger on it. Great album covers. This one is amazing. So Far So Good So What was not the best. Rust in Peace was great. And speaking of Rust in Peace, I think, I don't want to get too much into other Megadeth stuff. I know everybody considers that up there, I think, with Master of Puppets and, the greatest thrash metal albums ever. And I know it's definitely considered the best Megadeth album ever. And I never got into that one, although it does have the best sound. I think that's another thing. Megadeth never had a great sound the way that Slayer sounded on Rain and Blood, and even Hell Awaits, and even Seasons in the Abyss and South of Heaven. The way Metallica sounded on Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets and Justice for All. Megadeth, for me, never really had that great heavy sound to them. And vocally, Dave Mustaine was never a favorite of mine. He was okay. And I'm not talking about talent or range or anything like that. That's stupid. But just Dave Mustaine's voice, his style of singing, never appealed to me the way that James Hetfield and Tom Araya and Chuck Billy and Mark Ossegata, the way that those guys sounded. There was something preventing me from being a major Megadeth fan. Have I mentioned that? And have I gone on long enough? I realized when I listened to this earlier today, and I listened to it again a couple of days ago, I'm not as familiar with this record as I thought I was. The first side, which I consider much better than the second side, or I like it much more than the second side. There's some, I always go by, how much I know the lyrics is kind of how much I love the album. And I don't know the lyrics, maybe thankfully for anybody watching this, I don't know the lyrics for this nearly as much as I do for, some of these other bands that I love. And I'm going on and on, so I will get to this now. I doubt that I'll do another Megadeth episode. I don't think I like them enough. If I had found So Far So Good, Ellipses So What at a decent price, I would have bought that over Pete Sell's Ellipses, but who's buying? But I didn't, so I bought this. And I do like it. I'm not, trying to say anything bad about it, but it's I do like it, but just not a favorite. No hype sticker other than this generic parental advisory, explicit content lyrics. So I can open it up. It feels thick, so I guess it has the lyrics or a lyric sheet or something inside. I know the original album, I can't even remember, and I did have this record at the time, and I had it on CD. I don't remember what the inside sleeve is like. Let's take a look. Okay, so it is... Oh, this is... What is this? It's one of these... Okay, it's one of these ones where... So here's the record. The record looks like this in just a plain white sleeve. And then I like this. They give you the ACDC records. I like this, I think. And maybe Scorpion. No, not Scorpion. Scorpions have nothing. It comes with this extra, I guess, inner sleeve. And you can, it does open up. You can put the record in here. This is much, much heavier. This is almost as thick as the album cover. And I guess it's because I was talking with my friend Kevin Montemon about this about a month ago. These things always get ripped. They get split here. I guess especially at the bottom, because when you put it back in the sleeve, you kind of drop it in there, and you do that a few times, and it's going to slice through the paper very quickly. And the sides maybe not as much. So I guess they give you this as or maybe this one as an alternate. But so here's the inner sleeve, and it's good. It's got the lyrics, and it's got some liner notes, and it's got this guy's called Vic Rattlehead. So I like that. That's good. And I'll keep this with me because I will need some help with some lyrics, or maybe I won't even do too many lyrics this time. So this opens with Wake Up Dead. I don't need any help with Wake Up Dead. It's I sneak in my own house. I fucked that up already. I know I got it right. I sneak in my own house. It's 4 a.m. I've had too much to drink. I was out with the boys. Why am I talking like that? I creep in my bedroom. I slip into bed. I know if I wake her, I'll wake up dead. And then there's a wailing guitar solo after that. This is a great, great song. It's got that great middle section. I know that sounds very wimpy and weak and thick, the way that I'm singing it. But Anthrax, I guess those were bridges. Anthrax called those mosh parts. And Wake Up Dead had a great mosh part. Amazing. I wonder, will she find out about the other lover, Diana? And then it's got that cool marching part. That's an excellent song. Maybe my favorite on this album. Next is The Conjuring. The Conjuring is another great, great song. The first side of this album is amazing. As I said earlier, I think much better than the second side. And this has some, I talked in the other episode about Slayer, Rain and Blood, that they said abassinate and perishment. And there were 3 or 4 words on Rain and Blood that I'd never heard before. And this one in The Conjuring, the opening line is, welcome to our sanguinary sect of worship. And I don't know what sanguinary means. Feel at home in our black conventicle as we what's the word? Anathematize all those who oppose. I don't know what any of those words are. Sanguinary, conventicle, and anathematize. Don't know what they mean. I'll have to get out the dictionary or look in the dictionary app. Nobody actually gets out a dictionary anymore. Don't summon the devil. Don't call the priest. If you need the strength, The Conjuring, obey. And then it gets fast and kind of thrashy. It's got that great, again, middle section, kind of like a mosh part, that slow riff. It sounds so bad. I'm not even going to do that anymore. Conjuring is excellent. Next is Peace Sells. Not Peace Sells, ellipsis, but Who's Buying. The song is just called Peace Sells. What do you say about this song? I got incredibly sick of the song. The video's on all the time. This song was seemingly everywhere at the time, and I did get sick of it. But I can't deny that it's a great song. It's got, that great bass and drum intro. I mentioned I don't really like Mustaine's vocals. When he kind of growled like this, I did like it. What do you mean? What do you mean I don't believe in God? Talk to him every day. What do you mean I don't support your system? I go to church when I have to. He's got that real Mustaine attitude. Peace Sells is an amazing song. Very anthemic, good live song too. Next is Devil's Island. And this is devil's plural. It's not devil apostrophe. It's not the possessive form of devil. It's Devil's Island, plural. Another great, great song. Fast, more a little bit thrashy, and also kind of anthemic. Devil's Island, Devil's Island. That's an excellent song. On the other side, it's Good Morning / Black Friday, but it's not morning like Good Morning, Buenos Dias, or it's mourning, like mourning the death of somebody. And it's kind of funny. The intro is it's Mustaine kind of speaking. What does he say? I've got it here. Oh yeah, hey, I don't feel so good. Something's not right. Something's come over me. What the fuck is this? Is that what it is? Something's coming over me. What the fuck is this? It's kind of an intro. Good Morning is the intro into Black Friday. Black Friday is very, very thrash metal lyrics about murder and killer and homicidal man. I'm out to destroy and I will cut you down. It's Black Friday. You see the devil on the wall. Black Friday. Merciless butcher. A merciless butcher who lives underground. I'm out to destroy and I will cut you down. Black Friday is an excellent song. Good Morning. I could do without the intro, but Black Friday is excellent. Next is Bad Omen. This is a good song too. This one has a real thrash part. The solo in Bad Omen is not the solo itself, but the music playing under or over the solo is very, very thrashy. This is a real devil song. Menominee, Baphomet, well, maybe not. Yeah, drinking, dancing, they worship and toast the devil who's watching with demons remote, fire rising, racing in your blood, possessed naive, your service is done. Your service, his service is done. Sinister is the word as the demons take their toll. Very, very appropriate for the time. And next is I Ain't Superstitious. Hated this song when I was 16 years old. Couldn't stand it. I hated anything that was kind of blues or bluesy, and I especially didn't like it when metal bands did these bluesy kind of songs. And also Megadeth on the first album, Killing Is My Business, ellipses, and Business Is Good. They did These Boots, and I know that's not a bluesy song, but kind of a strange choice of those two covers. And I really, really hated this song. When I listen to it now, I like it better now, but I still don't think it's a great song. Megadeth doing blues is not the best, although it does get thrashy towards the end of I Ain't Superstitious. And then the last song is My Last Words. This is obviously a suicide, I guess like a Russian roulette song about a guy, loading a gun and the oil, a finger on the trigger, the oil makes it gleam, something like that. As I said, I'm not real good with the lyrics of this album, unlike Rain and Blood, where I pretty much did every lyric. My Last Words is a good song. Yeah, so there it is for Megadeth. I know this is considered a classic. What's the greatest Megadeth album? What do fans consider? Master of Puppets is obviously considered, generally, it doesn't mean you personally like Master of Puppets, but it's their magnum opus. I think this one is considered Megadeth's magnum opus. No, probably Rest in Peace, right? Right? So I don't know, but for me anyway, here it is. This is called Peace Sells, ellipsis, but who's buying?